Right, update on KNC. So we're still heading down in the macro term, but we're up today. We're up almost 34% as of the time of recording this. Now, does this mean the bottom is in? Has the bottom been confirmed? Let's talk about what's going on right now. Let's jump right in. So you can see KNC recently came right down to the $1 mark, and what's interesting about this is in our last video we extrapolated this accumulation range that we were in before we did go on this huge run up for KNC, and we are right back down into that accumulation range. We had a bounce off the bottom of it. We didn't quite make it down to the price target that we were talking about. We were talking about a move down to 68 cent when we were up here at $1.61, and we came down to around about the $1.10 really, instead of filling the whole target. Now, we are not necessarily out of the blue. And I even want to show you the 4 hour. I mean, a lot of people are getting exceptionally bullish right now. But, you know, you look at the EMA ribbons, you know, I'll be the first to update you if we do break bullish out of these. But at least at this moment in time, you know, we could potentially come up to as high as the long-term moving average on your EMA ribbons before we do curve out. I'm going to mark the short-term moving average and the long-term moving average slightly thicker. Am I on the wrong one? Yeah, I need my EMA ribbon. I'm going to mark the 21 thicker. I'm going to mark the 55 EMA slightly thicker as well, because it's interesting to know, you know, when we do get above these short-term moving averages and the long-term moving average on these EMA ribbons. So we've just hopped above the short-term. You can see this thick red line, but we're not out of the blue. And even on the lower time frames, you know, we could potentially see a move up to the top of these EMA ribbons, which is another 32% move before we could potentially top out. You hop over, let's finish on the day, on the 4 hourly actually, but you can still see, I mean, we could do something like this, and this would be exactly like what we did here. And on the flip side, you know, you look at what happened when KNC was in an uptrend on the EMA ribbons. It wasn't completely out of the blue to go on these big rallies up and then come back just below the EMA ribbons. So what does that mean for the EMA ribbons now we're on the flip side? Well, that simply means, you know, it wouldn't be outlandish to expect something like this. You know, we could move up to $2.95, $3, come down, try and break out, and then do something like this. I really do think a lot of people are getting very greedy in the markets over this bounce, and I want to show you, you know, if you are one of those greedy altcoin traders that's getting very greedy on this bounce, I want to show you why I personally think the bottom is not in. Number one, let's hop over to Bitcoin. When we hop over to the Bitcoin chart, how long did the last bottom take? Because it took its time to play out, and we actually, you know, everyone thought we had bottomed once we came down to this huge wick that got bought up. We had a big rally. I think we went up like 30%. We went up 36%, and then we proceeded to go up 38%. Everyone got out of bed for that. Absolutely everyone got out of bed for that. What happened? We did not break above this high. We kind of double topped, and we broke back down to 28,700. This was a new low. And we did the same again. We went up 25 to 30%, 28%, and then we rolled right back down to these lows, and we were not out of the blue. So, you know, I would be very careful. I've been in crypto for a while, and I can tell you, when we're in a big macro downtrend like this, the bottoms take time to play out. I would be absolutely flabbergasted. I would be outstanded if Bitcoin did something like this and we just W'd out, we just V-shaped recovery all the way up to 50,000, I would be completely shocked. And I'm just looking at the data objectively. I mean, every single bear market we've had for crypto, we've come down into these logarithmic growth curves, and it depends what logarithmic growth curves you are looking at. But, you know, historically we're using these log growth curves on look into Bitcoin, and every time we bottomed, you know, we only had one mass capitulation, and it took its time. But, you know, we're currently sitting in something like this at this moment in time. The dollar is breaking out as I speak, and if we come over to the stock market, I want to show you why we pumped. Because if you come over, I mean, you can see we're having this very slight pump over 1 day, on the Nasdaq. We're seeing it in the stock market. We're trying to have this pump from where we opened from, but this is what is allowing these altcoins to have these rallies. And people forget we're up 33%, but we're also down 70%. So be very, very cautious assuming the bottom is in before we do have a confirmed reversal. Like I said, you've got a double 618 up here. It would not be the most outlandish thing to come up to, for example, you've got your EMA ribbons here, so you would not even be super bullish until you took out $3.27. That also lines up with your double 618 fib. So there's just so many resistances above our head at this moment in time, and I'm not the type of person who likes to assume a bottom is in when we don't have a bottoming signal. At this moment in time, we're seeing the same thing as we saw here, where you come down, you rally for a day, everyone gets bullish, you come down, you rally for a day, everyone gets bullish, you come down, you rally for a day, everyone gets bullish, you come down, you rally for a day, everyone gets bullish. I think at some point we are going to come down and make new lows. I could be completely wrong. Just so you know, my trading plan for altcoins at this moment in time is simply to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is between the levels of 34,000 and 29,000. Even when Bitcoin's below 29,000, I will just be looking for lower price targets to DCA. But at this moment in time, I mean, we could rally over the next week. I'm not saying we can't. In fact, I would find it very likely that we could rally coming into the weekend or coming into next week. But we've done this before. You've got these big capitulation wicks to the bottom. We have these big buys up. Everyone thinks the bottom's in for the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So for the next month, another month and a half, we rallied for a month and a half, and then boom, we filled the low. Boom, we came back down to the low. So these bottoms take time. Here it took a prolonged period of time. I imagine here we're going to take our time and do something like this. I could be wrong. I'm just letting you know my trading plan. I'm all in on Bitcoin right now. I'm not touching altcoins. I think it's suicidal to go into altcoins while the US is increasing the interest rate, which means the value of the dollar is going up because it becomes harder to borrow the dollar, or it becomes more costly to borrow the dollar, should I say. You see the dollar rallying, you see the stock market crashing. We're in very, very risky times right now, and the greed has not left the market. You've still got people talking about, fit via GMT. People are spending hundreds of pounds on an NFT of a shoe. Even myself, I mean, I bought like a Degenerate Ape Academy NFT, and that is an obscene amount of money for a JPEG of an ape. And I've got other NFTs. I'm not an NFT hater. I do like them, but it is peak greed. It is peak degenerative behavior. I own NFTs. Like, if you're looking at my profile pic, my YouTube profile pic is an NFT. If you go on Solana Art and type in Bounty Hunter Space Guild, you'll see that is my NFT. I mean, you can type in Degenerate Trash Pandas, and if you click on the banner of my YouTube channel, you'll see I have NFTs in there as well. But it is degenerative behavior, and it is peak greed trying to make money off, NFTs of shoes, NFTs of apes eating grilled cheese sandwiches, and NFTs of raccoons with cigarettes in their mouths. I mean, it is peak greed. Let's just call it how it is. A lot of these altcoins have been pumping because of peak greed. How many of you invested in KNC without knowing the fundamentals? If you did, then that is peak greed. I mean, when bear markets come, people are forced to innovate. People are forced to invest into projects which are, pushing the space forward and increasing the technology in the space. When these times come at the end of bull markets is always when you see an onslaught of new meme coins, new dog coins, new shit coins, and in this time it's been NFTs and move to earns. And like I said, I actually quite like NFTs. I think a lot of them are here to stay, but I do think a big tide is going to come in and it's going to wash out all of the shit. Everything's going to have to, not everything, but 95% of cryptos that you look at this year, they're not going to be around if we do enter a bear market. So that's just a piece of alpha. That's just what I think is going on in my brain. But like I said, even if we look at this from a moving average perspective, until you hop over your EMA ribbons, I would really not get too bullish on any altcoins, and that does include KNC. If we do break down 69 to 70 cent, could be on the table. This could be another 60% capitulation. So be very careful if you're trading altcoins. Best of luck. You know what I'm doing. I'm DCAing Bitcoin. That's what makes the most sense to me. I've been in the 2017 bear market, and what I'm seeing with all of the altcoins bleeding against Bitcoin week over week, and then, you know, every 1 or 2 days or every week you see the altcoins go on crazy rallies. They make lower highs against their Bitcoin pairs and then they capitulate. This is exactly what I saw in the previous bear market. And if we look at like Solana, BTC, come over to the daily, you can see this as well. I mean, we're having this big capitulation where everything is bleeding out against the Bitcoin pairs, but every now and then you have these swings. You know, for example, here we had a 56% swing. Today we're seeing an 11% swing, and from the low it's probably even higher than that. So be cautious. This is just my trading plan. I'm letting you know what I plan on doing. I do plan on taking full advantage when the altcoins do bottom out, but at this moment in time, by buying altcoins, you're betting against the US dollar and you're betting against the Federal Reserve increasing the interest rates. I do not like my odds with that. The way the dollar is looking right now makes me feel like a lot of these altcoins, a lot of these cryptos are going to get wiped out if this does keep on increasing. Bear in mind, these can rally over the next week. There's nothing to say that KNC can't come all the way up to $3. Nothing to say it can't come up to $3.12. But until we have a macro flip, I'll be sitting on the sidelines. Remember, I sold all the way up here at $5. So even if we flip $2, $2.50, $3, we're still getting a massive discount from when we sold on the 1st of May. That's all I've got. Best of luck if you're looking to trade these altcoins anyway. Like I said, just want the best for you. I'm only trading Bitcoin right now. That's my plan. Cowboy out. Peace.